Welcome to the narration of my true story of love entitled Faded Flowers by author Kathleen N. Perez. On a lovely, warm, late spring afternoon, I met the most wonderful man, a captivating and fascinating man. It was an unexpected and very special encounter. He was a wonderful conversationalist. It was as though we had always known each other, as conversation flowed so easily. I was new to the area, having recently moved across country. I had called for a driver to take me to an appointment. How thankful I was that they had sent this very warm, professional gentleman. As I left the vehicle for my appointment, I arranged for him to return in a couple of hours. As I walked away, I realized how deeply he had touched my heart with his kind, gentle manner. How refreshing to meet someone who showed an interest in others. When he returned a couple of hours later and opened the door for me, I realized how happy I was to see him. He had left a deep impression on me. I knew I wanted to spend time hearing more about him, his life, and how he had become this very special and exceptional man. That evening, as I reflected on everything he had said, I felt an inner peace and contentment. I could not recall when I had ever felt like this. New to the area, and only having been through this area once before, many years ago, he kindly began taking me to different spots of interest. He was the most amazing tour guide. He had grown up here and spent most of his life here, except when he was away in the military or driving long distance. He made every trip an adventure. He would decide on a moment's notice to take a little road off the beaten track, when he would on a rare occasion say, "I don't know where this road goes. I have never been on it. It would make me happy because it meant we were seeing it for the first time together." He made everything so very enjoyable. He had the most wonderful sense of humor. I loved his laugh. I loved his voice. I loved his warm, caring way. Never had I met anyone like him. The scenery was breathtaking. From the narrow mountain roads through the national forest to the beautiful lakes, blue spruce, pine, aspen trees, and wildflowers. The many wildlife we would see along the way, the deer, antelope, elk, eagle, turkeys, geese, a badger, a bear off in the distance, the horses, cows, or sheep, or the sound of the birds made the days joyful. He loved fishing. It was so enjoyable watching him in his element. The first time we went fishing, I turned for a moment when we first arrived at the water to take a photo of an unusual tree, and when I turned back toward the water and him, he had already caught the first fish of the day. He had a big smile as I took a photo of him and the trout. I looked forward so very much to these wonderful adventures, leisurely stopping along the way whenever we wanted at a little breakfast nook or cafe, or getting tacos to eat at a park on a picnic table, or a lovely dinner at a steakhouse, or at our favorite Chinese restaurant, were all so special. Coupled with all of these wonderful times was the warmth of his smile, his gentle way of making life more special than it had ever been. How I loved hearing about his childhood and him showing me where he lived, played, and went to school. When he wanted me to meet his friends, his parents, and his family, I was overjoyed. It meant the world to me. He was truly the most genuine and precious man I had ever met. I knew early on I had finally met my soulmate. His face would light up when he would talk about his military days in Germany. He loved Germany, the culture and the people. He described everything so perfectly, I felt like I had been there. He has this amazing mind, so intelligent, recalling details so vividly, whether describing his life, experiences, an event, history, religion, or people. You could picture it all. The moments, the hours, the days, the evenings, the weeks, the months on end that we spent together, sharing all of our dreams, our hopes, our plans, our lives were the most precious of my life. We shared so much laughter and some tears as we each shared our life and past experiences. The happiness, the joy, the peace, the contentment he brought to my life was immeasurable. He is the greatest love of my life, someone who not only loved me but understood me. He is the greatest gift I have ever received. He is everything I ever dreamed of and so much more. He was always on my mind. He was the light of my life. He was the center of my world. Time stood still when we were together. He was captivating, fascinating, and a gentleman. He was a thoughtful man of wisdom. He was the true measure of a man. He had all of the qualities I admired, respected, valued, and loved. He had this special way of drawing people to him. It seemed it was not only a part of his personality, but deeper, a part of his spirituality, because he was a godly man who prayed with strong faith. He had this wonderful appreciation for life, the earth, history, his family, his friends, his country, adventure, and travel. I had never met someone who loved life so much. He made everything special. He made me feel that I was the most important person in the world. He was a wonderful listener, a caring, kind, attentive, and warm man with a heart of gold. When I looked into his gentle hazel eyes, I saw his heart. I trusted him with all of my heart. I had never felt so safe. I never imagined or even entertained the thought that there was anything in the world that could ever break or end our wonderful relationship, because after all, we believed that it was divine intervention that had brought us together. Yet now, here I am left alone with all of these wonderful memories, a million shattered dreams, and so many unanswered questions. It is unbearable that he refuses to communicate. The silence is deafening. The heartbreak of losing my greatest love and the loneliness and devastation I feel are so overwhelming. Somehow, even in the midst of painful, sleepless nights and long, endless days filled with tears, I know I must somehow accept that he has walked out of my life without a word, while I was waiting to do all the things we had planned, waiting for more of the unexpected, wonderful adventures we loved, waiting for him, my precious friend and greatest love. Each day with the passing of time, I wonder, does he ever think of me? Do I ever cross his mind? As he goes to all of the familiar places we used to go together, does he remember me there? Does he remember our laughter and the wonderful times we shared? Does he think of me when he listens to the music that became our music because he introduced me to it? The music he would play as we would drive through the mountains. The music he would turn up loud with the windows down so everyone in the city would turn to see us. Does he remember me? Does he remember how much I loved him, his voice, his smile, his laugh? Does he remember how loyal and devoted I was to him? Does he have any idea how much I miss him, how much I miss our time together and our many heartfelt conversations? Does he ever think how painful it is for me to see the map he placed on the living room wall of our Amazing Moments tour, highlighting all of the beautiful places we went together? Does he remember all the lovely wildflowers and sage he picked for me, and that I saved them all? They have faded and died now, but I placed some of them in frames, and some remain in the vase on the dining room table where we shared so many conversations, dinners, prayers, laughter, and tears, and so many moments together. Those flowers and the map are vivid reminders that what we had was real, wonderful, precious, and treasured. Those memories cannot be stolen because they belonged only to us. Does he remember he was the center of my world? So many unanswered questions, so many memories. I wonder how I will go on without him in my life. Growing up, I learned that love never fails. According to a Bible passage at 1 Corinthians 13:8. So when love fails for me, these words always come to mind and add to my heartbreak and make me question everything. When your heart is broken, you feel lost, unloved, unlovable, even unworthy, desperate to understand how this happened and why. Unexpected loss of a treasured relationship is a stab to the heart, causing deep emotional hurt, seemingly endless tears, deep sadness, insomnia, and triggers fear of desertion and abandonment. The loss and disappointment are overwhelming. Sometimes in this life, you mourn the loss of a loved one who is still alive. I know to heal from a broken heart, it is necessary to grieve. It is a process, and there are various stages, including disbelief, shock, denial, anger, deep sadness, understanding, forgiveness, and acceptance. I have learned there is no timetable for grieving. Allow yourself to be patient with yourself. Be kind and gentle to yourself as you would be with your dearest friend. I appreciate a quote by Kenneth J. Doka, PhD. Feel your intense emotions and understand the validity of those emotions. I also found it most encouraging to receive this message and quote by Nicholas del Toro Mercader. Cry the seemingly endless tears until there are no more. New clarity, resilience, and the life-inducing sense of purpose will eventually spur you on to the old as well as new heights. A famous Rumi quote, "Life is a balance of holding on and letting go," caught my attention and tugged at my heart. I am still working on letting go. A quote by Melene Katharina conveys my sentiments exactly. It reads, "The hardest part of losing someone is learning to live without them, always trying to fill the void and the emptiness that is left inside your heart when they go." Even in the depths of despair, I have chosen gratitude and appreciation. How very thankful I am that I met him, for each and every moment we spent together, for all the wonderful times we shared, and for the greatest love of my life. I cannot fault him for giving a former love another chance. I wish him only the very best. I wish him love. I wish him joy. I wish him peace. I wish him happiness. I have learned that truly loving someone is allowing them to choose the path that they believe will bring them happiness. Yet as I write this from my heart with tears coming down my face, I know that there will always be a special place in my heart, reserved only for him, my greatest love. I have heard that time and intention will heal a broken heart. One day, at the most unexpected moment, you will find yourself less guarded, a little stronger day by day, one step at a time, and over time, in your own time. Eventually, you will allow yourself to have the courage to dare to dream again. That day seems so very far away. I miss him so very much. If you enjoyed this story, you may also like my memoirs entitled The Finest and Most Honorable of Men, which is sold on Amazon in both the Kindle and print versions.